it's still, I think it's the 8th, the 9th. I don't remember, but I wanted to record because, why? A couple things. What was I gonna record on? I had it. I had it. I forgot what it was. It was about, what was it about? Gosh darn it. I called my sister. I called my sister just to check up on her. So I was telling her about the dream. I was telling her about the dream. And hold on, I have Star Wars in the background. I was telling her about the dream. I was just calling her because I hadn't talked to her in a while. And I was telling her about the dream. And just really, like, she got upset. Gosh, she's so triggered by him. And I'm just like, no, there's something else there. There's something else there that she's clearly being triggered. And I'm triggering her. Like, I could totally see it. And I'm letting her talk. So it's just so funny. Sometimes I like to trigger her on purpose. She reacts so funny. So I just updating her. So I'm telling her, I'm like, oh, I had another dream. You were in it. Once I start bringing him up, she just gets so triggered. And I'm just like, really? Like, wow. And she's just not okay with it. And she didn't even let me finish the dream. Stop up. So then I'm just letting her talk. I don't even finish. I'm just like, I'm not even bringing it up. But in my head, I'm thinking like, wow, like she's extremely triggered. And then it reminds me of, I don't know if I mentioned this, but when I had that other dream where it was about Noah, and Noah was showing up. And when I had that dream, MJ's, I forgot what message, I think it was like a whoever needs it message. She gave a storyline. And for whatever reason, like I knew that might be my storyline. And she's talking about how there are differences and blah blah, and your family doesn't like this person, but that you're secretly not saying anything. This is what she said. You're secretly not saying anything, but everyone around you is telling you no. And then she said, it's going to take a little longer, but it's the right choice, is what she says. And so it triggered again when I'm hearing her respond in that way. And I'm sharing with her just other stuff too, right? In terms of my own healing, and she doesn't believe me. She's like, how can you say that you're healed? I'm like, I didn't say I was healed. I said that I'm really close to it. Like I know I am, right? I'm following my dreams. I'm following the guidance, right? I'm definitely not in the same place that I was before. And then she goes off and she's just like, you're not, let me tell you what. And she's like, you still get triggered by blah, 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 blah. I'm like, when was the last time that happened? And she's like, well, I can't give you specific. I'm like, well, then don't say that. Like, you haven't seen me recently. You don't know. And you're just like my parents. I'm not, the whole time I'm trying not to laugh, but I am, because it's just triggering laughter in me to hear how she's so frustrated. Like, she's so flustered, and so it's clear that she's being triggered by me. So I stay quiet. I'm letting, and then she gets upset because I'm staying quiet. And then you shut down. I'm like, I'm damned if I do and damned if I don't. Like, so she's like, the last time you were here in October, I was shut down. I was shut down. I was like, do you want me to tell you why? And then she's like, no, don't try to rationalize it, blah, blah. Now you're being like Mama Nelly. Just like, okay. Let her talk. And then I asked her, have you been watching my videos? And she said, oh, sometimes here and there. I'm like, oh, yes. And then it didn't dawn on me until afterwards. I was thinking about it and reflecting on what MJ said, right? About your family is like really against it. Assuming, right? I'm entertaining the idea that this dream that I had is going to unfold, right? and I'm making now the choice, the choice to not say anything to my family, clearly, because they're getting triggered by it. Or at least my sister is. And I don't tell my brother anything about this stuff because I just don't. So then I realized, I'm like, she hasn't watched my stories. She hasn't watched it from the beginning, so she doesn't know. And I was trying to explain to her, because she's just like, that's not how people heal. You need other people around you to heal. The whole purpose, right, of being triggered by other people, and me realizing like, oh dang, like this is a different way of doing relationships. This is a different way of healing oneself, right? Where and Christina Lopes talks about it. She talks about it in one of the new videos. I forget which one she talked about it, but that the spiritual awakening for everybody was going to be this spontaneous, not spiritual awakening, but your triggering, your healing was going to be a spontaneous healing where the triggers were no longer going to be triggered by other people, but more so of this indirect effect, so that in essence you're able to do it on your own, right, if you're aware of it. And I remember her talking about it, and that she was getting more and more clients that were not necessarily being triggered by other people. Because I guess the spiritual awakening before, it was triggered by an intense event, like a life-altering event. And she was also getting more and more information of people just having spontaneous spiritual awakenings. That was it too. So not only are we able to start seeing our own triggers on our own, the spiritual awakening was also going to be spontaneous. So I was trying to explain it to my sister. I'm just like, if I'm entertaining the idea, right, that he is my twin flame, right, and all of this is purposeful in bringing us back together, assuming it's what he's wanting, and it unfolds in that manner. And even if it doesn't, what's happened this far is just an example of how someone can do their healing with minimal interaction of the outside world, right? Because clearly I live alone. I live alone. My interactions with other people are very minimal. And I'm working on all this on my own, right? Things are being triggered and I'm sitting with it. Oh, God, that was the other thing that she said. She was just like, are you going to be like my dad? I'm like, what are you talking about? Be like my dad? Because, my dad, that my dad moved away from the family. And I'm like, no, you don't get it. And then she said, oh, I was telling her, because she was comparing me to my parents, right? And then because both of my parents kind of keep to themselves for the most part. And so I said, the difference is that I'm confronting my shit. I'm confronting myself. I'm confronting my shadow side. My parents haven't. To a certain degree, they've done their own healing. Oh, that's what it was. Because she was saying, how could you be done so close to being done with your healing so quickly? She said, how long were you in your marriage? And she's like, you need more time. And so I'm just like, okay. Oh, and then she was comparing herself to So I gave her credit in the sense of just like, okay, yeah, I get how you can view it in that way because that's what happened to you, and you're basing it off your observations. But, right, I was trying to tell her that she's not taking into account all of the observations. Why? Because she has yet to watch my whole journey, this whole past year of record keeping, of me confronting my shadow, me confronting my shit, right? And working through it and being aware of it and work through it and moving on, right? Through each lesson. My parents haven't done that. Clearly, they haven't done that because they still get triggered in a way that's frustrating. Whereas for me, I laugh it off mostly, or like need to put a pin on it, right? To not be offensive. And I was trying to just help her realize, like, it's not fair, right? And then to a certain degree, why add more fire to the flame? I was trying to stay quiet, and I was just like, all right, that's her judgment, right? Her opinion, she keeps saying. And I'm just like, okay, whatever, it is what it is, right? And then, so there's that part, that difficulty to accept the possibility that you can work on yourself, at a quicker rate. And for me, it makes sense based on the information that I've gathered from Christina Loeb's, that light workers one, where it talks about how, certain roles, right? You work on your own healing first, and you're able to do it quicker because that's how you were programmed, right? Because you have to, for me personally, at least the role that I identify with is that I pick it up quickly, and I have to do that so that I can keep helping others do the same, right? So my transformation has to be at a faster rate than other people's. So she doesn't see that. And she hasn't cared. It's not that she hasn't cared. I know why she doesn't watch my videos, and it's because she's probably gonna get triggered by them, right? Hence, she's gonna get triggered by them, so her healing is gonna take longer, clearly. Yeah. So I was thinking about all of that today, and the conversation that I had with her, and just. And just her reaction to him. And I have to laugh about it. Because it still trips me out. I'm like, how can she hold on? Like, that's the thing. Like, it was only one interaction. Even what she described, it makes sense to me. I get it. But wow, she's holding a grudge, right? Like, I mean, I see it. She clearly doesn't see it, but I see it. And I was going to call my mom, too, and just kind of get her feedback on it. They live together, so I'm just like, oh, I don't want her to be tainted. She's never met him. So I don't know. Not that it matters. I mean, it matters. It matters. Family matters to me. So it does matter. But at least in my dream, it gives a hopeful outcome, right? Hopeful outcome. Potential energy, still potential energy, but okay. I'll let things be. But that's all. I kind of bummed it today. I'm gonna meal prep today. I did part of my meal prepping, and I'm gonna prepare the salmon, and just prepare the snacks for the week, and I'm determined to get back on track. I have one more week before school starts to just kind of enjoy the flow, get things ready, and I'm excited. For what's gonna happen next. So we'll see how things keep unfolding. Yeah, that's all. I think that was it that I wanted to talk about. So, right. Bye. Hi. My name is Yubi, and in case you haven't figured it out, this footage is capturing my experience as I learn to navigate my personal spiritual awakening. I am learning that this experience is unique to each one of us. In whatever way we believe we are embracing living our truth, this just happens to be my journey. And despite me having a graduate degree and a license in clinical social work, this by no means is intended to replace any type of mental health advice. This is just me on a personal level, documenting my experience, shedding light on the truth that I am learning and discovering for myself, and really inviting you along for the ride. If by some magical chance you find this content to be helpful in any way, shape, or form, please click the like button, share the message, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I have an Instagram account, a personal one, and one specifically for this channel that you're more than welcome to check out. I'm an open book. I have also created t-shirt designs. I'm wearing my favorite one right now, which is the North Node design, but I have that and other things that you can look at inspired by this process and journey, and I have the link in the description box as well as in the about section of my YouTube channel. So you're more than welcome to check those items out. Any type of support is great. Again, if you find this content really helpful or meaningful, sometimes when we take that step and be vulnerable, with showing what's inside our hearts and what's really our truth, we realize that we're much more connected than what we thought we were. And so I hope that as I'm living this experience and that you find some type of truth for yourself, or find some type of ability to heal in some way just by relating, just by knowing that you're not alone. That really has been my goal with this process, not just being able to connect with others, but really for my own healing. It's definitely been a therapeutic experience and a very creative one for myself. So I thank you, and I wish you all the best.